Yeah.
Let's take a look at that real quick. Give me another swing. Let's see if I can catch that a little bit all the way through the swing, if you know what I mean. Not just or halfway up.
Head's moving a bit forward. Let's try one more time here.
Hold on, let's just kind of see. I don't do this. I don't know why the camera's picking it up halfway through, so I'll try to. I may need to reset that camera real quick, but we'll go with this guy real quick.
I do still pull a lot, as you can see.
Let's do one down the line here.
Ready?
Yes, sir. Whenever you are.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready, my man. Okay. Attack. Okay. All right, let's take a look here. Let's take a look face on. Start off with. Okay.
Now, a couple of things that I'm doing, just so you know,
Mhm.
what I'm trying to do is a little bit of a slightly closed, what I feel is slightly closed stance.
Okay.
And then I'm also trying to have a slightly open, what I looks to me like a slightly open
Club face.
club face.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
So that's just what I've been trying to do.
Okay. No problem. No problem. Let's take a look at it. Okay. Okay, there's one. Just a second. Good there, getting good there. There's a little bit. So we're getting really steep here.
Yep.
Okay, see where we're at there?
Mhm.
Getting really steep there. And let's go back over here.
So can you go back to that for a second?
Mhm.
So what I what I see when I see this, keep going, that move right there. My upper body goes that way and my lower body doesn't.
Correct. Right, you get way too...
And that's what gets, I think that's what makes me go steep.
Yes, so
Okay.
we got to go over here to see why we're doing it.
Okay.
Okay. So let's watch our hands. Okay. So at this point, you've turned your shoulders about a quarter of a turn, almost close to half. I don't see much of a wrist set.
Okay.
Okay.
Doesn't get there until there. The wrist set doesn't get till there.
Correct. Right? And then here's the lift. Okay? You've stopped your shoulder turn to allow your hands to come up and get your set. Okay? And that's with your start.
Okay.
Okay? So let's kind of talk about this real quick, okay? So, and let me see one other thing here real quick. I just want to check and see. No, you're good there. You're not doing any reverse pivoting, which is good. Okay, so let's kind of break this down for us. Okay. So what I kind of see here, right? And this is what's kind of happening a little bit. We need to get the wrist and shoulders to match up. Okay? What you do is you get the hands out of the way, shoulders are turned, you kind of stop the shoulders to lift. Okay? And then the next thing is pull straight down.
Right.
Okay? So what we need to kind of get to here, all right, is that we need to kind of have the set early. Okay, so when my hands are right over my right foot, you see where that's at?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
You're here.
Okay.
Okay, you're like this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, does that make
Exactly
sense?
right. Yep. That's exactly the way I am.
Correct. So, what we want to do is let's come on over here to the wall. Okay, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do here, right? I'm going to get this club just right over my right foot, and I'm going to have a little space right here. Okay? Just a little. Okay? Now, if it were you, we'd go into the wall. Okay? So what's happening is you can hit a 5-iron 200 yards or 150 yards. Right? Inconsistency, right? If the timing and rhythm guy shows up, he plays well. But the technique is gone. Does that make sense? You have no technique, right? When it doesn't show up, we struggle, right? And we struggle with our low point, big, right? We get real steep, right? And then we get, out to the right. Does it all kind of sound familiar?
Yeah, that's what I do, exactly.
So what we want to do is bite-sized chunks here, right? I want to get our hands here, okay? See where I've got that? And then I want to start turning up. Now what we need to have is we need to have our shoulders and wrists match up, okay? And we don't need to go past that, okay? Because once we start to get our shoulders to stop and our hands to lift, then we get narrow. Or if we do the same, if we have our hands not set and our shoulders keep going, we'll get steep because neither one match up. So come on over here for me, please. Okay? Now for you, it's probably, right about there. Good. Okay, you can probably give yourself just a little space. Just move this way, your body. There you go, just a little bit. Okay? Now, okay? Right, for you, it's going to feel like a lift, doesn't it?
Yep, a little bit.
Right. Okay, and that's fine because that's what we've got to get a feel for. Right? So do that again. There. Turn. That's as far as you're going to go right now.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Okay, that's it. Okay? Your shoulders and wrists are matching up now. Now as you come on down for me. Oh, wow, look at this. The shaft is with our right forearm now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And that is all because of our takeaway. Yep, that's it. Bring it on down for me. Right. Okay? Now get up to the top of what your swing is. Come on through for me. Yep. Where's your weight?
Front side.
Right. Right. Now I'm sure there's some times where it's on the back or it's on the front. And that's all if we have good rhythm rhythm and timing that day.
Yes.
Okay? That's
Or I've hit enough balls to where I've mentally figured out how not to do that.
well, you've ingrained imperfective swing to work,
Exactly.
right? Mr. Rhythm and timing are catching up to what we want to do,
Right.
but when I get in a pressure situation,
Right.
they're out the door.
I mean, my driving range is like this. I almost typically, the first 5 balls I hit on driving range, I hit good. But as I get into my workout on my driving range, it gets worse and worse and worse. Then I figure out, think out what I'm doing wrong, try to figure that out, try to correct it, and it goes back to, it's 20 or 30 balls of shit. And then I finally get it figured out towards the end.
Well, you didn't really figure it out. You found a way to manipulate the problem.
That's what I meant to say.
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
So it's interesting you bring this up because that has been my pattern ever since I've ever hit balls ever. Is good, crap, figure it out, okay, a little bit better, okay, good, go out and play. And then of course you get to the golf course and I can't figure out why I can't take it from the driving range to the golf course. All right, good conversation.
So the other thing is that I'd like to say is that, well, you gotta take
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, take your time.
Hang on. I'm sorry. Hang
No.
on 1 second. My wife just told me something from the doctor. I got to
understand. Those are important.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem. No
All
problem.
right. So we need to go this, right?
Yeah, so we need to kind of feel like, here we go, right? So want to have the feeling as I get here, chop, right?
Mhm.
And then now I can get my shoulders and wrists to match up to
Mhm.
your swing, okay? We don't need to go any longer than that. We don't need to go any shorter because these things match up, right? Now that's going to give you more power
Mm-hmm.
than you going,
Okay.
does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Right? Because then we're going to get forward shaft lean, we're going to get that club not so steep, and a lot of good things start to come around. Okay?
Interesting.
Okay, so.
Because I was trying to get further back. Apparently, that wasn't what I needed to do. But.
No. So what I wanted to say here is, if I were to look at John Rahm or Tony Finau, you guys would say he's short, wouldn't you? They got,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? No, that's not correct. Right? Their swing and their wrist angle match up perfectly for their swing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? So whatever that range of motion is for you is what we stay with. Okay? We don't go outside of our box. Good. Now that's going to get you forward shaft lean. That's going to get you angle of attack. And that's going to get where we need to be. Yep. Yeah. Yep. I'd rather be there. Yeah. Weight's all going forward, isn't it?
Okay, let's see what this feels like.
All right, and now look at your low point. Really good for our irons. Really good. And now look at your path. It's not up, not so far to the inside. It's getting out to the right, which is good. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
Okay. All right, have your shoulders and hinge match up. Give me one or two more here, and then I'm going to kind of show you some of the drills that we need to kind of work on to get that feel. I'm going to take a look at that guy real quick. Getting a little too much leg action there. Let me ask you a question here. Go ahead and go to your setup for me real quick. Okay. And I want you to take your regular stance. Don't worry about the ball. Okay. So I'm going to take him on out. Okay. I want you to give me an honest assessment. Okay. When you swing, do you feel like you've got power?
No.
Okay, that's fine. So we're going to do a little test here. Set up again for me. I want a wider stance. Make it exaggerated, right? Now you're going to make a swing, and I want you to give me an honest assessment if you feel powerful.
Yeah.
Okay? Look, make me a swing. All the way through.
Hang on. Yeah.
Okay. More powerful. Correct. So we gotta kind of understand this. What our balance point might be for you is going to be different from me. Equilibrium in our ear, right? What I see is a very narrow stance, very controlled, compact kind of feel.
I'm a controlling guy.
I get you. But I think you would benefit much more from having a wider stance where we feel powerful. Now there are players that I get that feel more powerful here than they do out here. And that's because of their equilibrium in their ear is much different, right? And that's our balance point right there.
Yeah, I think in response to that, I think my concern about a wider stance is sway.
I would go the other way on you. I would be concerned if I don't have enough stability, I'm going to sway to make that move back.
Except that if I'm in a smaller stance, I feel like I can stay between my legs. Wider stance, I feel like I have a chance, my head has a chance to come off the ball and through the ball more. But if I'm having narrow, I'm just telling you.
I know, and it comes back to what we were just talking about, right? It comes back to the point that your hands get so far away.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, absolutely. No,
right?
You're absolutely correct.
So if we get a little bit wider stance, you're not going to sway, okay? You're going to be in a much more powerful position, and it's all about your wrist and shoulder set right now. It's not about your feet, because you've got so much leg movement going on here with your legs to stay balanced. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of leg action going on right there. Okay? So that's why I would suggest to you that we want to have a wider stance which is going to create, which is one, it's going to shorten up our swing. Okay, a short stance we're going to get a little bit longer. If I get here, then I feel powerful here and I don't have to keep reaching back.
Okay.
Does that make sense, big guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I don't like pride, but yeah.
So let's talk about a few drills that we need to kind of work on. That'll
Sure.
kind of help you just a little bit here, right? So I think you're doing pretty good with the takeaway here. You know, you can. What we typically do is we put 6 inches here, one ball inside, just a bit. Okay. Now I'm sure you've seen this drill 1,000 times on all kinds of stuff, right? The big issue is that I don't want to do this with a drill. Where's my hands?
Away from you and
Gone.
Yeah.
Running away, right? Okay. What we want to kind of practice here. Okay. This is how this ball needs to go back to that wall. Watch. Okay. See how that's soft? Right? I'm keeping my arms and hands in control, right? And not letting them go off
Gotcha.
the bus. Okay. So that's practice number 1 that we need to kind of do. Okay. Number 2, the wall drill.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the third one, we're going to have to use a little bit of imagination because I don't have the right tools here to do this.
Okay.
Okay. But we can do this on a mat or at the range or something like that. I don't know what facility Cleveland Heights has, if it has mats or grass.
Mats and grass. It has both.
Okay. So let me just kind of give you a visual here of what we want to do here, okay, for this. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get this guy, I'm going to put him right here. I'm going to get this guy, I'm going to put him right here. Okay. I'll put this guy, put him right here. Okay. So they're about spaced out about 6 inches apart. Okay. And that's what we want to kind of go for. What we want to do is we got 3 different chalk lines here. I want to get a white right here where my ball's going to be set. I want to get a blue line right here where my low point's going to be. And then I want to get a pink one right back here, or a red, whatever works for you. Okay? Let me get that right here. Now let me kind of demonstrate here for you, big guy. Remember, we're using a little imagination here on this, okay? So imagine these being chalk lines. Okay? Now if I start right here, I don't want to get any pink or red on my club, on the takeaway or on the follow-up.
Sure.
Okay? So it'd be like this. Right? And as I come down, boom, and through. Okay? What you're kind of doing would be this.
Yep. Agreed.
Okay? So does that get, I mean, I know I wish I had some chalk here.
That takeaway is huge. Yeah, I'm looking forward to working on it.
Okay? So those are 3 ways that we want to kind of practice. And I just wanted to kind of show you that before you start getting into the mix. Does that make sense? Because I'm sure we're not going to do it exactly right to begin with. Okay? But if we can spend some time to do these drills, we'll start to see a big difference with having our wrists and shoulders match up. Okay? And it doesn't matter if it's here or here if I'm Rory McIlroy. Okay? It's all about the degree of turn that I can make or you can make. Right? And if I do that, then what's going to happen, how we get our forward shaft lean, is when I get here, there's my forward shaft lean. Okay? And now I'm down and through.
Okay.
Make sense, big guy?
Yep.
Any questions?
Nope. All right.
Okay, so I'm going to set this down right here. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the ball. I just want you to kind of set up. I just want you to get a visual of it. Okay? All right, so if I had you right here, it would definitely be more up.
Right.
Okay? To give you a visual. All right? Yep. See where our hands are? Great. Yeah. All right? Good. And now we can drive that back down. Yep. Yep. Release your hands. There's no need to hold that lag. Through. Okay? Yeah. There you go. Okay? There you go. Because you've already created your lag way up there. You don't need to hold it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to take these guys away. Bye, guys. All right. Okay. All right. Uh-huh. Good. So maybe we might want to hit like little half shots, whatever it kind of feels with our wrists and shoulders turning at the same rate.
I mean, it feels like I'm impacting the ball, you know, more solidly.
Okay. So you feel that angle of attack going down for sure, right? Not bottoming out behind it, right? Good. Okay. All right, give me that wide aggressive stance where you feel powerful.
I mean, it comes off. You're gonna feel it coming off the face more with a lot more power.
Okay. Good.
Feels like it anyway.
Okay.
It feels that way.
Well, I've turned the numbers off for distance because once we start doing that, we start chasing a number on a screen and not what our technique is or what we're trying to work on. Don't get the club inside. There you go. Good. There you go. Do me a favor, move it up in your setup just a little bit. Move the ball up in your stance just a smidge, just a scotch. Doing one more here. Good job. So what we kind of see here just a little bit, right? You see how your low point's really getting ahead here? Mm-hmm. Okay. Watch the, let me just kind of put this guy right here. I don't know why it's not doing the whole thing, but let's just check. Okay. Let's just take a look. Right. getting about half that, you know, I wouldn't mind if it, you know, if I had a line maybe like right here, okay? But you're kind of getting a little bit too far in front of that line, just a little bit with our lower body.
Mhm.
All right, so look at the little speaker we got back there, and then we're really getting here. So we'll take the camera back over there, but I think we're still getting a little steep with our angle. So if I kind of we'll look down the line, it's probably going to be more between the forearms than back behind the right arm. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
So that just means I'm not moving my left hip out of the way fast enough?
Correct. So, you know, what I would venture to guess right here is if I took you to a TPI specialist, Titleist Performance Institute person, they would say that you have a very weak left side, meaning that you're not pushing you're not pushing your foot this way. You're letting it go this way. Okay.
Okay.
So let me just kind of explain that just a little bit before we get too lost in the sauce. Okay. And I don't know if I've told you this before. If I had this leg in the swing, it's doing this. It's kicking. Okay. This guy is doing that. Okay. So I need to have that feeling when I get up to when I get here, that I feel like this foot is pushing that way. So it's this. And it's really got to have that kind of feeling like this as I come through. It's going to be like this. Okay? So it's not just pushing back, it's turning too. Right? So if you look at Padraig Harrington, who's on the senior tour, when he gets there, he does this. I mean, he gets his left foot out. Right? If it was baseball, we say he's stepping in the bucket. Right? But for him, it's here. He's gotten through impact, and then he's releasing all that energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we kind of got away from that. There were a couple of lessons ago, we were talking about that, and kind of got away from that, but that's not anything new. The other stuff I think has kind of taken over a little bit. But I hear what you're saying. You're right.
All right, and then that hip's got to start turning. Right, yeah. And then don't hold the angle so much, because you're going to create that angle up at the top. It's your set at the beginning that gives us that angle. Up, there you go. All right. So right here, start releasing. Okay. We don't need to hold that on like this.
Okay.
That's going to allow this guy to keep going to accommodate for that. Does that make sense? Right? Good. Does that make sense? Right? You feel like you're turning around a corner a little bit, right? Good. There you go. Honest assessment, how that one feels.
Great.
Good.
Felt a lot better.
Okay, good.
And you know, as we've gone through these lessons, like I told you last time, you're systematically, or however you're doing it, removing myths that I've had in my golf swing for eons. Holding on to the angle is one of them. And I've never known the way to, I assume that was correct, because you get more power, more downward, all that kind of stuff. But obviously, if I get the rest of it right, the set early, it kind of takes care of all that, and I don't have to hold it anymore.
Correct. So let's quick, to give you some real good. Is that thunder? Okay, so where forward shaft lean comes from is when I get here and I make my transition. There's my forward shaft lean. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not held down here. Okay? It is a byproduct of me getting here and there, and now I've stored up that energy, and now I need to release it. Okay? But if I have a bad wrist hinge and I keep going like this, then I've never really got that thing set or my shoulders to move with it. So now I've got to get steep and maintain that angle. Right? And now I'm trying to catch up for what I didn't do in the beginning. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good. Look at all that weight going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. I'm going to get quiet here and let you kind of work on it, okay?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it does take a lot out of you to hold that angle. I mean, physically, to hold that angle.
Oh, you mean the old swing that you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Or- yeah.
I mean, it's I mean, it's inconsistent, but it's also takes a lot out of you because you're focusing on this.
You're moving way too much. The bus is moving way too much if you got to hold that angle, right?
Yeah.
We only need to hold it, you know, a couple degrees in front, not 5 feet in front, right? Okay, so when guys get to that same point, we go. I'm gonna let you hit a few shots. Let you focus. Try to stay out and down. Okay. Just move this thing up.
We almost feel better. A lot better. To me, I feel better anyway.
Good, good. All right, Rome wasn't built today, right? It takes time, right?
That's what they keep
Once we
saying.
can start getting into our drills a little bit and get immersed into that, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of better things too.
That wasn't good.
Little forward slide there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
My lower body saying stop that.
All right.
Stop swinging.
All right, it's going to feel like it's less motion than more motion.
Yeah, that is a very, very true statement. Is the pole because I'm steep?
Let's take a look down one. Okay. I would say it may have to do something with your grip.
Huh.
Okay, but we'll take a look. Let's take a look at a few things here, what our setup is.
Oh, that looks
Pretty good one to look at right there. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's one I just hit.
Yeah.
So it just like you got lucky.
Yeah, pretty much, right? But we're not seeing much of that left hip turning out of the way. I just see the hands kind of driving down and through, right? Okay. So let me kind of see if I can kind of explain just a little bit different manner for you to kind of help you out just a little bit. So if I had a chain from the end of this club to my waist, right? I'd want to keep that distance relatively the same. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's going to be another little visual that we're going to kind of work on with our swing. Does that make sense? So it's here, right? And then shifting down and through, right? And trying to feel that club fall behind us and then releasing that club. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, I think I was trying to hinder the, because when we spoke a while back, it was, I've been working on, you know, when we come here, is turn the light switch off.
Yeah.
We talked about that, right?
Yeah. And would that shaft would be closer to your right arm than your left. Does that make sense?
Well,
If I look back here,
so this is what I was doing.
you're doing this. You're just pulling down.
That's right.
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 That's what you're doing. You're just pulling straight down.
Right.
But there's
And
no
if I
turn.
and if I get out fast, if I get my hips out fast enough,
Well, the club's
then,
gonna.
then yeah. So what are you saying? I see. I need to pull straight down, but I need to be. Like
Well, we
this.
need to have. Here you go. So you got to have. As we get on up here, everything matching together, right?
Yep.
There's my shift forward. Okay. Club falls back. I don't need to pull down. Okay. This is a motion that comes with it. Gravity comes with that, right? And now I'm just
so I don't
here.
need to physically pull down because I'm doing everything else. Okay.
Correct. Once we start to physically pull down really hard, we get the club going really steep.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so I'd rather you kind of feel like when you get here, you stomp on a grape here, and everything comes that way.
All right.
Does that make sense, big guy?
Yep.
Okay. Now look where that shaft would be. Closer to your right forearm, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so we just need to do this slow. Get a feel for it, okay? Good. Much better.
Still not falling off enough, am I?
What's that?
Still not letting it drop enough.
So good.
I feel like I'm still too steep. Better. Good.
Now let's take, I think I got that one on record there. Let me just take a look here real quick. Path is okay. Good. I'm not really sure what that is. Okay. All right, go ahead and jump on in there real quick for me and get ready and let me know when you're ready to go. All right. Is that it? right? So your swing typically is going to follow your shoulder pattern, right?
So I thought my shoulder was good, but I guess not. Okay.
Yep, that's why we're here, right? So want to feel like, you know, either for us it may be one of those things we get the right foot a little bit further back. Okay.
Okay, so can you do that again with the thing? So now I feel like I'm where I need to be.
Yeah, so jump on out. Okay, so you're parallel to your target line.
Yeah.
See that?
So do I need a little more close to my target line, or is that
No,
good?
no, you want to be parallel, because this is
Okay.
our target line. We
Okay.
want our shoulders parallel to that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be going down the target line, it would be parallel to our target line.
So I want to feel like I'm closed.
Yeah, you want to feel like you're getting that
I feel-
high, tight
I
pitch.
feel like I'm closed.
Yep, there you go. Or square. That's really what you are, square. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Does that make sense there?
Yeah. I just, again, you know, it's one of those things where I think I'm right. The little noodle thing is very helpful
Mm-hmm.
because
There you go. Good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that one's not good.
Just kind of flailed out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Shit. Funny story to tell you after I get done with this.
Okay.
It was with Sean.
Oh, okay. Give him a call when I get done.
So I had your guy in here.
How's that shoulder feel?
It feels like I'm closed.
Okay. I'm over here on the side, so I'm just asking you for your reference. Yeah, and there's a guy in here. What were you saying?
Yeah. So when I first started working with Sean years ago,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have this net up here. He was in the other place. And every once in a while, I would hit it so poorly, I would put it right through the ceiling.
That old popcorn seal,
Yeah.
whatever he has.
Just put it right through the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
You see him take a deep breath and go, shit, okay, here we go. I don't blame him. One thing I noticed when I first got in here with you was you had the net up there. I said, that's a smart guy right there. It is a little difficult to not hold that angle.
That's just going to take time. For you, it may feel like it may be an early release with the hands.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like.
Right. But the reason you're trying to hold that angle is because you're accommodating for the slide. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So I mean, okay, I just need to I'll focus on that for a second. See if I can't get that figured out.
Okay.
And that time I just felt like I stomped as hard as I could on my front foot.
Yes. Yes. That is a great way of feeling it. That's going to get that hip to start driving up and out of the way. Okay? So the other way we can kind of feel that, right? Set up again for me, all right? I feel like there's a chain right here along my belly button in my hands. There you go.
Okay.
Uh-huh. It's not just set and leave it, right? I got to have that chain work with me.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
New York. New York, guys.
Now I do want to take a little moment here to check out your grip, okay? And I want to test you real quick and see if you can do this and see if we can start getting in the world of feel here a little bit, okay? So what I'm going to have you do is I want to take just your left hand and I want you to be able to do this, right? Get that pad over top. There you go. Okay. Do you feel where that pad is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's, I can see that you're kind of struggling to get that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So,
just had to figure out which fingers to put on it.
yeah. So yeah, so now we're getting, you're kind of cheating it just a little bit. So you're going like this.
Okay.
Okay, so you see this pad? So here, I'm gonna help you out here just a little bit. Okay, so just take these guys off. Okay, it's gonna be here. That pad's gonna get really over the top. Okay, get those fingers off. There you go. Feel that in the pad there?
No.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Okay.
So,
Right.
yeah, it feels like I'm like major strong.
Well, the reason why we're getting so many different face angles is because we're getting in the palm with a bad position.
Okay, so now that club feels like it's coming, this pinky is coming right at the intersection of pinky and hand.
Yes, so we want to have the feeling, right? So from this knuckle to this base pinky knuckle, club goes diagonal,
Okay.
pad goes over top.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to get a lot more control of the club face. It may feel strong to you, but what it is, it's control. Okay?
Okay, that's a good explanation. Like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's different.
I get you.
That's different.
All right, feel that pad on top. There you go. All right? Mhm. All right. Now, do me a little favor. Try to hold that angle down at the bottom now. Don't feel good, does it?
Mm.
That's because you allowed the club to be in your palm to allow for that movement pattern. So once we can kind of have that, we can early release that and still control the club. Mhm. So look at our face angle. See where it's just slightly closed?
Mm-hmm.
You've been going anywhere from 3 to 5 in either one of the directions.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right, and you can see in the video the club's flopping around back up at the top. Right? Okay? You're doing great, big guy. A lot going on here today.
Yes, there is.
All right, pulling movement patterns out is what we're doing. Good. I know it's a little left, but look at where our face angle is. It's closer to 0. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now we're getting control of the club face. Give me one more and I'll show you a different way of kind of doing that for yourself.
You think I'll think I've had an hour onto my golf game. Just getting my grip right.
Those are the best 3 shots you've had with your face angle by far.
Okay.
By far. Okay, so here's another way we can kind of look at that. Do you watch any of the PGA Tour at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you watched Adam Scott in the U.S. Open, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? What's he do before every time he sets up?
Okay, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So whenever you watch Adam Scott, he always puts the club to his side, right? And why does he do that? So he makes sure that that left hand gets in the best position it needs to be. So if I put that club right next to your side, and then you take that hand and take it over, there you go. You feel where the pad is? Oh yeah. Why do you think he does that?
I didn't know.
Correct. Right? These are the things a lot of people overlook when they're watching these guys. But there's a real purpose to that. Yes. Yes.
Isn't that interesting? Obviously, the club face is apparently pointing to the target.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Now it's square. Now we've got control of that club face. Right? Not letting it get into the palms where it starts flopping around. Feel that pad on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
Feel that left hand in the fingers. All right, now you've got control of that club face. Mm-hmm. Good. So good. So much better.
So is three's open, I presume?
Yeah, a little open. Okay.
Negative is closed.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct. But you were getting that thing to like 5 degrees closed, 6 degrees closed.
Those
So
negative.
even if I swung out here to this guy, I'm still going to go left. right? And I'm on the inside, why am I going left, right? Because the face is walking
It's
around.
been a great question for years.
Okay.
All right, I like what we've done there. That sounds good. Can we hit this for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, and you were going to talk about this for a second. What do you think about this?
What do I think about that? I think that we've got two things that don't really work very well. Okay. One, the stiff shaft isn't going to allow the club to flex back a little bit for us. The other thing is that it's extremely light. So you're going to start moving that club in front of you. Does that make sense?
I always thought lighter was better, but okay.
To whose swing?
I don't know.
Correct, right? Not to your swing, but you know, what I would probably look at, right, is that when I feel this guy, right, he's light and a little whippy, right? So,
But it's stiff.
Well, just because it has an S on there doesn't mean it's stiff.
Okay.
So when they come out of the factory, there's nobody testing to make sure.
Okay.
So we could run that on a brrr thing and go, oh, that's a senior soft, but they put S on it, right?
Okay.
So I can't tell you how many
So you
times.
have no idea.
You have no idea. When you buy something off the rack, it is just a crapshoot if it's even close to that. And
Okay.
9 times out of 10, it's not.
Okay.
So that would be what I would kind of say is that, you know, if we went to go get fitted and we had that on the test, they would probably find out that is not the stiff that you thought it was, right? And
Fair
the
enough.
other part is, right, is where is your flex point on there?
Do not know.
Correct, right? So everybody, here, let me kind of show you here. Everybody has what we call load. So when I get here, I load this club, right? If I have an imbalanced load, right, or I don't have any load at all, then everything's out of balance.
Okay.
Does that make
Understand.
sense?
Absolutely understand that.
Right?
Sure.
So that's the reason why when they talk about doing club fittings, that they want to, you know, the fitter doesn't really care about the head. It's your preference of what you like for the head. What he's looking for is the shaft.
Gotcha.
Right?
I've always known that.
Right?
I've always
it's,
known that. Yeah.
So it's what our load is, what our spin rate's going to be, right? And how we're able to move that through and keep it behind us,
Okay.
right? So if it's too light, I'm going to move that in front of me. If it's too heavy, it'll fall back behind me.
Right. So that's why I wanted to get work before we got into this conversation is work on the mechanics. Because once I feel like I got the mechanics, or at least I know what the mechanics ought to be, then we can start, because I do want to get into something that
Yeah.
fits me.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's this or the irons or whatever. But this is where I'm feeling I'm losing
Power.
power.
Yeah, and I would say that shaft is not suitable for you.
Okay.
Okay. Now, here's the other thing, right? And you bring up a very good question. A lot of people, a lot of students might go, I want to get the technique down before I get fitted. Your technique is only going to improve what you get fitted to. Does that make sense?
I think that makes sense to a point.
Okay.
I think,
to a point.
I think you're right. I think you're right about that. But I think you would agree that my mechanics were significantly off
yeah.
when I got here.
Mhm.
So I wanted them to get into a range that was
Yeah.
reasonable. Now I think, and this is just me talking.
Yeah.
Now I think I'm in a position to where the fitting will do me the best good.
Yes, there is a little part true to that, but the other part is that your spin rate and your load is going to be the same. Does that make sense? Even if I get you here, you're still loading. Here, you're still
So
loading.
because of the power of the swing.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
Correct. So the only thing that's going to help is if you get in better technique, whatever fits you for your swing and your speed is only going to go more.
That's right. Okay.
Right? Does that
Fair
make
enough.
sense?
Yeah, I get
Right,
it. Yeah,
so-
yeah. Okay.
That's the big thing about the
I'm not
gym.
arguing with you, by the way.
No. I love the conversation. I love the debate. That's what excites the mind,
Okay.
right? But that's the big thing is that whatever your club head speed is, whatever your launch angle is, right? That's what they're going to do. And the big thing is when you get with a fitter, they're going to work on your spin rate.
Yes.
Right? They're going to work on your spin rate.
Yep.
And I can sit here all day long and try to get you to do the technique, but if I've got equipment if I've got a hammer that I need a drill for, right? I'm never going to get that job completed. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So the big thing is that we want to, and that's probably what, maybe 8, 5, 7 years old?
Oh,
How old's that
probably at least 7, maybe older than that.
Okay. So we bought something
That's
that
old.
might have been well suited for us 8 years ago,
Well, yeah.
but now we've aged maybe out of that.
Just so you know, I got this at Master, what was it? Not the PGA store. It was called Master Fitters or whatever.
Okay.
So it did have a guy doing that.
Yeah.
And we got the spin rate down and so forth. So that's how I got into this. I just didn't go buy it off the shelf.
So here's the other thing, right?
Okay.
So as we age out,
Yeah.
right, of that, right,
Yeah.
we start to change our technique to get that distance that we had then,
Yeah.
right? So then we start to chasing our
No.
tail.
Well, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And I've said this all along is that, I was, 50 back then. I'm 63 now and, out of shape and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not getting better shape. But, I feel like I've felt that this club is not doing me much
Yeah.
good.
So the equipment that we have is probably leading to our bad technique, right?
Probably.
Because we're chasing a distance that we can't achieve
Yeah.
with that anymore.
For the most, I hit some good drives today.
Mm-hmm.
Got good trajectory, felt like good. They were 210.
Okay.
Well, that's,
The amateur average is 220.
yeah. Well,
Just so you know.
I know, but I
What would you like to have?
235.
Okay, that is reasonable.
I
If I
think-
heard like 260, 270, I'd be like, come on, man, we got
out of Cleveland Heights, if you hit the ball off the white tees for an average,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of, for most of those holes off the white tees, you're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 130, except for 2 holes, 130, 120, 135. Some of those holes are going to be, 155 out, some
Yeah.
a little longer than others. But I feel like if I'm looking at an 8-iron, 9-iron, 8-iron most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm in good. I feel like I'm in good shape.
Yeah, we've
I'm
got
not-
a scoring club in our hand, right?
Yeah, I'm not so far. I'm resisting moving up to the
Okay.
green tees.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
just-
begging my buddies to let me go.
No, I don't. I'm just resisting doing it. I want to be off the white tees. I want to hit at 130, 135, 230, 235. So I'm coming in with an 8 or 9-iron or a wedge most of the time, and on a couple of holes have to pull out my 7 and 6.
Okay. So, the rule of thumb when they take you, and they do, course fittings and stuff like that, is that if I hit my driver and I'm inside the 150, then we're playing the proper tees.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Right.
And I feel like I'm about 15 yards short of that.
Okay.
I just feel like that's just because I got the wrong club in my hands.
You've probably got the wrong tool.
Yeah.
One, okay. Our technique has led to bad technique because we're chasing something that our equipment won't allow us to do anymore. 2, okay. The other thing is that once you start to get this new technology and stuff, it'll start going. Now the other big part of this is what are you doing for speed training?
Nothing. We're going to talk about that.
Correct. Good. So, what we need to do is you've got to understand how the mind works. There are breaks and latitudes in our mind to allow us to do what we want to do. Okay? We've got to break those barriers. Okay? And that's where like speed sticks or heavy clubs come in, and we've got to do stuff like this, right? So if you kind of step on over there real quick, and we'll kind of get this thing going before we all get poured on here.
Yeah.
Right? We want to kind of have, and it's not about technique, it's not about anything, it's about speed, right? And it's this, it's swinging as hard as we can, hard as we can, hard as we can, right? Moving that club, breaking those barriers, and then getting on in here, and then boom, we're going to have more speed because we're starting to break those barriers.
Okay.
Now, what I would suggest is they've got something called speed sticks or hit
Yeah, I've heard
sticks.
those, yeah.
You've also got one where it's just one club where you can put the different weights on. That's what I would do because I've got the speed sticks and it's 3 clubs. I gotta go, where the hell's that one at? Let's grab that.
Yeah.
Just get one that works. And we really want to kind of work on, when they talk about this, you're going to do stuff like this. You go here and swing, and you're going to have your little speed monitor down there. You're trying to break the speed, whatever it is. It's not about technique. It's not about, hey, did I get my arm in the right position? It's just about speed down there.
Okay.
Okay? And then they're going to get you to, you swing this so many times, like that, right? And then you get a heavier club. You repeat the process, but they're going to have you go, boom, right? And it's never too late to do that.
Okay.
Okay? There's never a point in time where I'd say, hey, that's not going to work for you. We can always gain more speed, and we can always break those barriers.
Okay.
And you can too, I
I
promise
want
you.
to. No,
Okay?
So I want to eventually get to that conversation. So
Yeah.
that's good. All right.
So, I mean, the big thing is that I'd get like speed stick, get like one of those little monitors, maybe you have one.
I don't.
Okay? Get one of those little monitors where if you've got something like this, a small little launch monitor at home, work on your speed, right? And it's not about technique at that time. It's about you breaking your mental barriers that you've put in place on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start to break that, we start to go faster and faster and faster.
Okay.
And the big thing is if we can gain...
I always
Yeah.
felt that yes, I agree with that, but I always felt that if I had better technique, I would get more speed.
Well, better technique is going to get centeredness and contact.
Yes.
Okay? But once we start to build in the speed with the technique,
Yeah.
it starts to go.
Right.
Right? And it's two different worlds of performance. Right? One is a speed performance and one is a technique performance. Right? And we practice those separately, not together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because
it
your
makes
speed-
sense, except they ultimately have to come together.
Well, yes, and they're going to come together without you really realizing or knowing it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Because your mental blocks will be broken. And you're
Right
gonna
now,
get
I'm in a
speed.
paradigm of the speed comes with the speed. I'm in a paradigm at the moment. I need to get out of my paradigm and get to another paradigm.
Correct. There's another level that we need to go.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. No,
Any other questions?
No, that sounds good. Can I hit just a couple here?
Yeah, go right ahead. I'm gonna pack up a few things
Where's
here.
your tees on here? Those tees.
I think they're right there back behind you, maybe.
Those aren't it, are they?
What's that?
The tees. Those aren't